Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be the Casio F91W featured on some leather straps. Now you can see that most Casio F91s, they come in this black resin strap, and resin is another fancy word for plastic. So for the price point, it's quite appropriate because most Casios of this style, they go for around $20 to $30, sometimes even less Canadian. And yeah, they last for a few years, but sometimes they can break or degrade, or maybe you just want a different look with these Casios, so you may consider switching out the band. Now, the only thing to keep in mind is that the straps are a little bit different. So you can see here, the straps actually jut out so that they're flush with the lugs. So that's a little bit different from your traditional watch strap. So that means that you need a special strap, and that's where Vario comes in. So Vario is a company in Singapore. They sent me these straps to kind of try on with the Casios, and you can see here, that difference of the strap kind of jutting out here. That makes sure that the strap is flush with the case. So thank you again to Vario. They sent these straps to me. So we have the black with the blue stitching to try on with half of them. And then over here we have the tan brown to try on with the other half. And then let's go ahead and see if these are good on the Casio F91Ws. All right, so here's Casio number 1 with the blue case. And you can see that with the leather strap, blue stitching, it looks seamless. Like, it does not look out of place at all. And what I mean by that seamless transition, you can see that that's why the straps are like that. So you get that flush design. It looks like a perfect pairing. It doesn't look out of place. And if anything, this leather straps gives it more of a vintage vibe than it already did. I can kind of picture this with a Canadian tuxedo, which, if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically when you wear a bunch of denim. So more of a retro vibe. So you can see on my 6-inch wrist, it fits perfectly. It's quite comfortable and definitely an upgrade from the resin. So yeah, I think this one looks pretty nice. Next up is Casio number 2. So this one has the black case with the blue border. And again, very seamless transition. It almost looks like the factory strap from a distance, but it is leather. And I just want to mention there are quick release spring bars. Thank God, because otherwise this video would take a lot longer to make. Like, whenever I have to deal with watches that have the non-traditional or the more traditional spring bars, it always takes a lot longer to take the straps on and off. So again, you can see that the strap and the case are pretty much the same blackness. So it's a much more stealthy option for this F91W. And finally, we have the Casio with the black case and the gold accents. This is actually my favorite Casio, my favorite black case Casio. I feel like the gold accents really give it, a bit more character. And in terms of the strap, I probably would have paired it with the one that has black strap with black stitching. I feel like the blue stitching is just a little bit too different, but again, they do have the black stitching on their website. But again, same vibes, more of a retro style vibe. Let's put it on the wrist. If I were to suggest a strap case combo, I would do the black Casio, gold accents, black leather strap with the black stitching, and then you got yourself a really nice black and gold watch to wear out. All right, so now we're going into a bit more bold territory. This is now the brown strap with the silver case and much higher contrast, which some people like, some people don't like. I actually tend to like higher contrast things. I just feel like it makes the watch stand out more. And you can definitely tell, like, just setting it down, now the Casio, now that silver case looks really noticeable. And yeah, I actually like this combo. So let's put this on and see, because this time, this is clearly a leather strap now. Whereas before, like the black leather strap, it looked very similar to the resin style, but this one, you can definitely tell, like, this is not a resin strap. This is clearly a leather strap, different vibe, much more standoutish case. And we're going to see that with the last two watches I'm going to show you. So now we have the gold case with the brown strap, and you can see, again, lots of contrast here. The brown gives it a different vibe now. I think the black resin gives it more of a tech nerdy vibe. This one gives it more like a, I don't know, Midwestern cowboy, like wearing a brown leather jacket vibe. So definitely feels different. And again, I like the more higher contrast strap combos. It kind of makes the Casio feel different. The black strap just gives you a similar feeling, and if that's what you're looking for, that's great. But if you're looking for something different, something that actually changes how this watch performs in everyday life, yeah, go ahead, look for this brown strap. And then finally, we have green case with the brown strap. And I gotta say, probably not the best combination. I think if you gave the green case a black strap, it'd be fine. But I think this is just too much of a green, brown overtones. I think watches that are pure silver work, watches that are pure black work. But if you have watches that have like blue on blue on blue, or green, 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 or green, brown, it's just a little bit too much of one color. Not that it looks particularly bad, and I can see some people maybe preferring this, but personally, from a fashion standpoint, probably stick to a black strap. And honestly, black strap in general is usually the more safer option. So out of all the options we've tried today, I would say that these two are my favorite. The blue case with the blue contrasting stitching on the black strap, I think this one is the most similar to the factory, default Casio with the black resin. And yeah, the contrast stitching looks good. This is more of a subtle, this is more keeping to the original look. So if you're looking for a strap to replace it and keep that similar look, I would say go with this one. And again, in terms of quality, like these are pretty good quality. Like they're not super stiff. You can see I can easily bend these straps, which I really appreciate. I wish that other watch companies, the bigger companies made straps that were nicer. Straps that had quick release spring bars, nice soft leather. Like again, I guess this video is technically sponsored, but they told me I can kind of say whatever I want. So good job in terms of the strap quality. It's very soft, very nice. In terms of this color combination, very close to the original. This watch with the gold case, brown strap, this is if you actually want to change the vibe or change the theme of the Casio watch itself. This plays very differently compared to the black resin. It's more rustic. It's more, again, like Western style. And yeah, it's definitely a different vibe. And I really like this one. If I were to keep this watch, which unfortunately I'm not because I'm giving it out to a friend, but if I were to rock a daily Casio F91, I would probably actually choose this one because I just feel like it's so different. And I think it works best on the wrist. That contrast makes the case stand out, even though it's just, a resin case. That doesn't matter. It still looks really nice. So this would be my favorite kind of new design, kind of a new theme. The only thing I wish is that if it came with a gold buckle, that would kind of complete things. But overall, this one's my favorite. And finally, let me give you guys a third-person perspective of these watches. So this is the gold case with the brown strap. I have a 6-inch wrist, 5'10", so you can kind of see the proportions, how it kind of plays with my skin tone, skin color. And then the other side we have on the left wrist, this is the blue case with the black strap with the blue stitching. So you can kind of see the proportions, how it looks different compared to the resin. It gives it a more formal feeling, definitely gives it more character, I would say. Makes it different from a typical Casio. So on that note, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Vario, for sponsoring this video. Subscribe for more videos, and as always, see you guys next time.